What's going on, everybody? Back again here for Rolling Out Music. Your host, Malik Brown, of course. Rolling Out Music, we talk to the hottest music artists, producers, engineers, everybody under the sun. And today, I'm with no other than the legendary Wyclef Jean. Wyclef, how you doing today, man?
What up, family? It's an honor to be with y'all. Let me just start off by saying to all the Fuji fans, y'all don't want to miss the tour. It's been insanely crazy from my daughter's age, who's 18, all the way to 60 years old. I see 50-year-olds doing calisthenics. It really looks amazing. So make sure y'all catch that Fuji tour. I think that's probably a great segment, to like really go into this because, I was looking, I knew he was going to interview me and I was looking at the angle of this. And I think like approaching it from what I've seen from the concert aspect, where it goes all the way from a Gen Z to a millennial to my generation, like putting all of those generations together, and they're all are like Fuji fanatics. Then it reminds me of TikTok, which is it. TikTok don't have an age; all it has is music, right? Instagram, so all of these formats, and then just the Fuji message, right, which has always been conveyed through years, the idea of unity, the idea of community, the idea of growth, right, and the idea of standing up for yourself and the idea of don't die broke. You know what I'm saying to you? So just wanted to start off by laying that groundwork just before we get into it.
Definitely, no, I love that. Definitely, y'all. I got to check out the tour myself. We definitely got to check it out. I'm a
Check it out.
myself, so definitely got to check that out. But you talked about the Fugees and how you all stood up for standing up for yourself. Being authentic and unity. And you created this track. With some young people, with some people that have been in the game for a long time
Yeah,
about getting their
yeah,
tell us
yeah.
about
We got Capella, we got Floor J, we got Lola Brooks, we got Pusha T. We have this young artist, amazing Kofi Black, and Jazzy Amra. So the best way I could explain this is like no cap, right? Me and DJ Khaled, we grew up together, and we used to like clash in what was called a sound system. So the sound system is like, I would show up and I have my dub plates and my records. I would play, DJ Khaled would play. This is all in Jamaica. Major Lazer would go on, right? So this is like a lot of my background and foundation. Sometimes the underground movement of like sound systems is so underground, even with millions of people, a commercial audience wouldn't understand that. But that's some of the backgrounds that we come from. Now, in saying that, when we compile records, I like to create scenarios, right? Just like Khaled, like he creates these scenarios and finds. So I want you to think about this is I think like this is the first record of its kind where it would go all the way from a Gen Z generation to a Pusha T generation. And a team of youth spitters who are amazing singers and rappers, but sort of like conveying and echoing a message without echoing a message, right? Because you need the no cap, right? When Pusher, a grown man now, is telling you, this is what I've been through, and now I got kids, and it's all about that real estate. And then you have a young superstar like Floyd J or Lola Brooks. Like, let's just start with Floyd J. Amazing ball player, right? Amazing entrepreneur, right? Who was barely 19, I think, when she was doing this record, and her conveying, yo, I'm literally like the first millionaire in my family. So how am I going to be responsible for this concept, right? Then you have someone like Lola Brooks who's talking about, yo, I just left Section 8, right? So you have these amazing talents that are conveying the reality of America, which is very important. And what they're doing is, of course, I'm doing the beat. So my trick, like whether if it's Killing Me Softly or Hips Don't Lie, Maria Maria, I have a way of making you move. And so you're definitely gonna move, but at the same time, the whole idea of the record is to celebrate life and for you to know it's not too late, right? Because at times they'd be like, oh, it's too late, like it's done for you. So the idea of this idea is like, get your paper right. You know how Ye got that record. When I get my paper right. So this record is telling you, yo, get your paper right. And if your paper not right, it's not too late. And there, the part of the hook where we saying, like drinks on me, get your paper right. You could do it too, graveyard shift. Just, you got people that are working like double shift, triple shift just to try to make that ends meet. So what we wanted to do was create a sing along. Princess, chill out. This is Princess, by the way. My daughter's dog. Chill out, Princess. We good. I don't know if Princess dog is meaner than 6ix9ine's dogs. I think they be thinking like rappers got all of these like mean like. Hold up, let me open for 1 second. Princess, relax. Go. Yo. Classic, yo. My days of pit bulls are over, as y'all can see. But yeah, just to say that this messaging, what makes it amazing to me is it's not us saying it. It's the generations that are saying it. And they're saying, get your paper right. And it's so much needed, right? Because it's like we're in a very dangerous time, dude. And young women, we're in a dangerous time because we're in a time where it's only one messaging that's being conveyed. And it's like saturating everything. So for me, it's important that, and that's not what all of the youth are saying. You know what I'm saying? The youth are talking in different ways. So for me, it's important that this message gets out.
Love that so much. You talk about how each person told their own story within their verse in their line. And I think
Yeah.
that's important as Black people telling our stories. I think that's really important. There's a stat that says 54% of Black Americans don't have their money saved to maintain their standard of living in retirement. You can go for musicians, you can go for anybody working a job. That 54%, kind of goes within all of us. But for you, I wanted to know, how can the younger generation, kind of battle that, and kind of fight against that, and kind of get their paper right, get their money right for the future, and build generational wealth? What do you think are the tips?
Well, I think, there's a few things here. I think one is we have to look at, I love the model that TIAA is doing, you know what I mean, for retirement services, that provides the whole retirement idea. I think the first thing is, where's the go-to? Like, what is the go-to? Like, how do you get information, right? And then so we're starting to convey the information right now. So if you're listening to this, I want you to be aware of this. This is important. Like, so when I tell you TI is bringing awareness to the fact, what you said, 54% of Black Americans' money is literally like, is not being saved, and they don't have money when they retire. Let's start off by saying that TIAA has the information, right? So now let's start by conveying the information. So I think the information starts off by saying, at a very young age, you actually can start saving. So sometimes we don't think that, right? So at the end of the day, I want y'all to look at it and be like, yo, I might be 15 years old, or I might be 16 years old, but literally, if you follow this clause, by the time that you're like 24, 25, 26, 27, your paper will be right. So I always start off by saying, respect money and money will respect you. Don't live for money, right? But let the money live for you. And what that means is, this is how we build generational wealth. So what I want y'all to do is start to take advantage of the government programs. So I want y'all to start to look at these policies that are put in place for you financially, even through retirement, that you're not aware of. So take this as a tutorial, as a case study, right? What's our best friend? Google, right? My daughter's best friend is Google. So a lot of times, this is a thing that I see. Our communities are not privy to this information. till it's too late. So what I want y'all to do is make sure that y'all go online and y'all can do a case study and follow this information. So the first thing, how do you get your paper right? How do you set up account, right? How do you set up a bond? How do you set up a trust, right? All of this is very, very important, and you're not young for that. Another thing is, you know, I think like I'm the perfect person to speak to y'all, right? Because it's sort of like whether if it's like a young thug who's like 24 with a song called Wyclef Jean, or the actual Wyclef Jean who's 54, or right. So I can speak to that generation because 20, I was a millionaire in my 20s, right? So I'm 54. I live in a mansion, right? So I'm the perfect example to, right? I wasn't spending my paper right wrong. And sometimes I made super bad investments and I lost a lot of money. But in losing that money, because I looked up the information, I was able to make that money back. So what I want you to look at, all we talked about saving. Saving is one thing, but also too, within this saving, look at investment opportunities. No, you're not too young at all, because you have YouTubers that are like 16, 17, 18 years old that are making over millions of dollars just from subscribers. So it's your time. It's your generation. So I want you to look at that. And I don't just, I want you to, that same energy that y'all give to going on your TikToks and your, and I'm strictly speaking to the millennials for a second, the TikTok, the Instagram, and all that, and getting someone to like your vibe, and I need you to use that same energy to research generational wealth and start to focus. You know what I mean? And I would again say the company TIAA is doing a great job, and I keep saying that because I know y'all gonna Google it. Now, for an older generation like us, right? Two things. Man, it's so crazy, man. I think like Nas started a program to help like elders too, which is I was looking, and I was looking at Hip Hop 50. I was looking at Hip Hop 50, and I was like, this is 50 years later. And I'm looking at I think the show was Rock the Bells or something. I was looking at it online. And I was looking at the elders that started hip hop all the way up to now. And then I was like, now let's look at that. And some of these elders don't have a plan. This is a reality. We have to look at this, right? And so when we look at some of these elders without a plan, then we have to look at ourselves, right? And meaning like you have a generation right now who's living check by check, and they got like 5 kids. They trying to figure it out. 1 second, I got open for the dog. I feel like DJ Academics, you know, when he always stops an interview and goes to his dog. Francis, you ain't gonna do that. You gonna respect my gangster and my interviews. We're not doing that, buddy. Yeah. So I think that, again, I think the older generation, is not too late for us. Let's look at the policies that's available for us. And then I always say, make your vote count, right? You have your councilmen, you have your senators, you have your governors that are supposed to be representing you, and these boroughs and these districts in these states. And the idea of retirement has a lot of policies. So when you're voting for someone and you're casting, make sure that the agenda of what you're casting goes with the policies of your retirements. And the reason why I say that it's not too late, and I'm looking at an older generation and a newer generation, and I'm like, damn, when hip hop started out, you know, where's that generation? And they all show up, right? Some have 3 kids, 4 kids, 2, 3, 4 insurance policies, trying to figure things out day by day. And it's important that, because, and this is, I'm gonna say this, and this is no cap. When I was 20 and I used to look at retirement plans, it was like, okay, when you retire, you're gonna die. Most likely you're gonna head out to Miami and you're gonna live with a bunch of old people, and then you're dead. That's what retirement was, right? This was the ideology. Bro, I'm 54. Retirement is a celebration. It's the idea of saying, wow, My life is starting all over again. And this is what I want the older generation to think. Like that idea of like being 54, being 60, being 70 is old. That's dead. That's out the window. People are, you know, the reason why we're dying a lot is because of the struggle within our rural communities and everything that we're going through, from diabetes, high sugar, and all that. But we're in a position where we can change that. And in the process of changing that, let's focus on our retirement policies. And it's not too late at all.
Look, that was a great segment. Great segment. I love that. Look, one last question. One last question. I know we're about to wrap up. One last question, of course. You talked about, you know, the older generation. And you know, it's been a few people, like I can say Jay-Z. He talked about financial wealth in the 444. You know, it's a lot of the older generation, I think, that are trying to, you know, trying to get the younger generation on and trying to help them. For the younger generation themselves, how do you see the music realm right now in the younger generation? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that I'm like a music connoisseur. So it's so crazy. I would show up at a Fuji concert, but then you got kids that show up and they want to hear Sweetest Girl with me and Akon and Lil Wayne. And then the Fuji generation is like, hey, what song is that? Did I miss out on that? Right. So I think that the pulse of the culture, right? One thing I learned. So being in the studio with Michael Jackson was amazing, right? Because what happened was, and then Quincy Jones did the music for Michael, who's one of my mentors. And I was like, yo, what's the key? And he said, you have to forever have a young pulse. You could never think, because what happens is when you like 20 something, you love jumping jacks. You could do them all day long. And then when you get 50, you no longer want to do jumping jacks, push-ups, or pull-ups. And you forget these are the basic fundamentals. So I think that what's going on is our older generation is missing out on some good music. Because what happens is, because sometimes things are so saturated, all you hear is syrup, right? You hear pull up, it's on site, right? And you hear the constant violence, right? Amongst this, right? This is why it's important for us to have a balance, right? So we can be like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, we can say her, like maybe we could name a few. But when we was coming up, it was a big balance. You was able to balance things out. And it seems like we supposed to have 20 J. Cole's, 20 Kendrick Lamar's, 20 new Lauryn Hills, 20 Fuji's, 20 new Jay-Z's, 20, that's not happening. And I think that it's not happening because the money is coming so fast now, right? For these kids, right? And what that means is you get one hit song on a tour, you can make like $10 million, right? The money's coming faster. So as this money is coming out, is burning as fast as it's coming in, as you can see with the COVID era, like it stopped everything. So I would say again, there is some amazing music being produced out there. You have to look at it. I think what is missing, we just need more of a balance. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, and then we can't talk about the millennial new music without talking about Afrobeats, right? So Afrobeats to me is one of those like amazing genres like dancehall, you know what I'm saying to you, which I think again conveys another pulse. What I would say is I had an album called The Carnival, and the Carnival, the idea was music is global, hip hop is globalization, and I think that we're here, there, we're globally. I think that the youth, though, at times need more OGs because some parts of it is so out of control. When Biggie and Tupac died, we all suffered, we all cried, Big Pun and like Freaky Tide, it really hurt us. But now the violence is just normalized. Like every 2 to 3 months, it's on site, and the youth is dying. Where to my daughter, it becomes normal, and we can't have that. So it's important that we balance things out, and I feel like a record like Paper Right is important for that.
Well, look, thank you so much, Wyclef. Thank you for everything that you've done for music. over the years
Thank
that you continue to do. We appreciate you. Let the people know when they can hear Paper Right. Where they
So
can find you on the
Paper
tour.
Right's gonna come out at the top of the year. We got the original and then we got a remix. You know, as a producer, I was listening to a lot of, I ain't gonna lie, I listened to a lot of Chronic when I was doing the beat because I wanted like old school Dre bounce mixed with an East Coast bounce. So I was trying to get the drums and the bass just a certain way to get people on the floor. I think that we have that. I think that's pretty amazing. So the top of the year, y'all can expect that. We also got a remix from RSL, that's Refugee Sound. Legacy, and you know I'm Caribbean too, so you know that remix gonna have that Afro-Caribbean vibe in it. So we gonna put you on the dance floor. And again, Floor J, Lola Brooks, Pusha T, Capella, Kofi, and I close the record. So at the end, I come in and close it on some Coconuts vibe. You already know. So very dope. So I look forward to that. And again, get your paper right, and I'll see you on the Fuji tour. Top of the year, expect that song to start pushing forward.
Well, if y'all heard it here first, Wyclef, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you here rolling out and everything that you do. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Peace up. Love.